Hello guys, welcome to our channel Medico Gyan, the final stop of all your medical queries. I hope everyone is good and taking care of themselves. Please do subscribe our channel to stay tuned and stay updated and press the bell icon button to receive further notification. Today the topic of discussion is Guillain-Barré syndrome. Is Guillain-Barré syndrome is the topic of discussion for the today class. What happened in GBS? There is formation of antibodies against the myelin sheath. There is formation of antibodies against the myelin sheath. And this antibodies does not crosses the blood-brain barrier. It does not crosses the blood-brain barrier. So only the spinal cord and the peripheral nerves are involved. So only the spinal cord and the peripheral nerves are involved. Because the antibodies does not crosses the blood-brain barrier. Because of the antibodies reacting with the myelin sheath, there are motor symptoms, sensory symptoms, autonomic nervous system is involved, but the bladder and the bowel is not involved. There is motor involvement, sensory involvement, autonomic involvement, but the bladder and the bowel is not involved. In the motor disorder, in the sensory disorder, there will be paresthesia, numbness, and tingling sensation. Bladder and the bowel is rarely involved, and most of the time it is not involved. So there is formation of antibodies against the myelin sheath, leading to the motor involvement, sensory involvement, autonomic involvement. The bladder and the bowel are not involved. Now comes the clinical feature part. What are the clinical features of the Guillain-Barré syndrome? Mostly, the child will present to the OPD with a complaint of fever with the passage of the blood in the stool. A young child will present to the OPD with a complaint of fever and with the passage of the blood in the stools. And when you do the culture sensitivity of the blood, Campylobacter jejuni will be present there. Campylobacter jejuni will be present in the blood culture, which will be sensitive to fluoroquinolones, such as ciprofloxacin, ofloxacin, norfloxacin. So you will prescribe him antibiotics. The antibodies against the bacteria will cross-react with the myelin sheath in the peripheral nervous system. The antibody against the bacteria will cross-react with the myelin sheath in the peripheral nervous system. What happens after 2 weeks of all this condition? After 2 weeks, what will happen? The child won't be able to move his leg and the lower extremities. So there will be flaccid paralysis. The child is not able to move his leg and the lower extremities, so there will be flaccid paralysis. As the child is not able to move his leg, lower extremities, the child will ask help from the family members, asking that he is not able to move his lower limbs. So the child will ask help from the family members, as the child is not able to move his lower limb. Family members. Then gradually what will happen is the paralysis will gradually ascend upwards and lead to the involvement of trunk. So truncal paralysis will be there. So initially there will be lower limb paralysis, then the paralysis will ascend upwards and leading to the involvement of trunk. So truncal paralysis will be there. It can also involve the upper limb also. So the paralysis can ascend upward from the lower limb to the trunk part to the upper limb. So there will be quadriplegia. When the upper limb is involved, there will be quadriplegia. All the 4 limbs of the body will be involved, so there will be quadriplegia. There is also involvement of the diaphragm leading to diaphragmatic paralysis. As the diaphragm is involved, so the diaphragm will be paralyzed, and when the diaphragm will be paralyzed, there will be increase in the PaCO2 and leading to respiratory acidosis. So the diaphragm will be involved, leading to respiratory acidosis. One of the most common cranial nerve which is involved in the GBS is the facial nerve. So the facial nerve is most commonly affected during Guillain-Barré syndrome. And there will be bilateral seventh nerve palsy. There will be bilateral facial nerve palsy. So there will be facial diplopia also. The bilateral seventh nerve palsy is also seen in cases of Bell's palsy and sarcoidosis. Bilateral facial nerve palsy is also present in cases of Bell's palsy and sarcoidosis. What happens in cases of sarcoidosis is there are non-casseting granulomas which will comprise the facial nerve. It occurs due to non-casseting granulomas which impinges upon the facial nerve. Suppose this is a child. This is the trunk. These are the lower limbs. This is the feet. And this is the upper limb. So as already discussed, the paralysis will gradually ascend upwards. This is feet. This is ankle part. So the paralysis will gradually ascend upward. So there is an ascending kind of paralysis. The paralysis is there which will ascend upwards. So there will be ascending paralysis. So the child is not able to move his feet initially. The child will be not able to move his feet initially, leading to absence of reflexes in the distal part. So distal areflexia will be there. Ankle jerk will also be absent. These are the earliest finding in the patient with GBS. So the ankle reflex will be absent, the knee reflex will be absent. The ankle reflex will be absent, the knee involvement will be there, leading to the bilateral knee reflex which will be absent. And there is one more important point. Though there is ascending paralysis, but the ascending paralysis is always symmetrical paralysis. It is always symmetrical, flaccid, ascending paralysis. So there is ascending paralysis which is flaccid and which is symmetrical also. But in some population, but in some population, 0.01% of the population, the paralysis rather than going upwards, it goes downward. So paralysis descend from upward to downward direction, and these patients have variant of GBS known as Miller-Fisher syndrome, which is a variant of Guillain-Barré syndrome. So the paralysis in this patient is from above to downward direction. So this is Guillain-Barré syndrome, this is Miller-Fisher syndrome. In both of these cases, the sensory involvement will be there in the form of paresthesia, numbness, and tingling sensation. Paresthesia, numbness, and the tingling sensation. As already said, there will be motor involvement, there will be sensory involvement, and there will be autonomic involvement. Because of the autonomic involvement, I can say there will be resting bradycardia and postural hypotension. As the T4 to T8 fibers are involved, which are the sympathetic fibers, because the sympathetic tone is lost, there will be resting bradycardia and postural hypotension will be there in this patient. So the heart rate will be less and the blood pressure will also be less, which varies with the posture. The bladder and the bowel, as already discussed, will not be involved. Now, what is AIDP? AIDP. This is nothing but acute inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy. Acute inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy. Why this is acute? Because it is less than 4 weeks. There is inflammation leading to demyelination and involvement of many nerves. It is used to describe Guillain-Barré syndrome because there is paralysis of the leg, there is truncal paralysis, there is respiratory paralysis, and there is upper limb paralysis. The symptoms can develop over days and weeks. The symptoms can develop over days or weeks. So what happens in AIDP? It is an acute condition. Those symptoms can develop over days and the weeks, but it is always less than 4 weeks. But if it is more than 4 weeks, then it is not acute condition. It will be a chronic condition. So it will be known by the name of chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy. So this is the difference between AIDP and CIDP. Acute condition and the chronic condition. Chronic conditions are those lasting more than 4 weeks. Normally, we have said that in GBS there is motor involvement, sensory involvement, and autonomic involvement. But if only motor is involved, it will be known by the name of AMAN, acute motor axonal neuropathy. Acute motor axonal neuropathy. If motor and sensory both are involved, it is known by the name of AMSAN. A.M.S.A.N. Acute motor sensory axonal neuropathy. Acute motor sensory axonal neuropathy. AMAN, AMSAN, AIDP and CIDP. The difference is only in the duration. If it is more than 4 weeks, this is CIDP. So I guess I'm clear till this point. GBS is a very important topic in today's world, and many patients can be seen also. What are the investigations which are done for diagnosis of the GBS? Lumbar puncture is the first investigation which we do for the diagnosis of Guillain-Barré syndrome. In lumbar puncture, the cell count will be normal, the sugar count will be normal, but the protein count will be raised because of the presence of antibodies. These antibodies are nothing but these are proteins only. So the cells will be normal, the sugar will be normal, but the protein count will be raised. And this is known as albumin cytological dissociation. This is known as albumin cytological dissociation. The second test will be nerve conduction velocity. Nerve conduction velocity. In NCV, the velocity of the conduction of the nerve will be decreased in the spinal cord and in the peripheral nerve both. The NCV will be less in the spinal cord and in the peripheral nerves both. But the investigation of choice for Guillain-Barré syndrome is presence of antibody, anti-GM1 antibody. If anti-GM1 antibodies are detected, it is the investigation of choice for Guillain-Barré syndrome. And these antibodies are responsible for demyelination in patients with GBS. Now comes the treatment part. IV immunoglobulin. IV immunoglobulin is given for the period of 5 to 7 days. What is this? This is nothing but antibodies against antibodies. This is nothing but antibodies against antibodies. You know, if there is a delay in giving antibodies just by one single day, chances that the patient will ever walk will decreases by 10%. So it is very, very important that we should initiate IVIG in very early time and in very early stages. Because if we delay the time by one day, even by one day, the chances of patient ever walking decreases by 10%. The second will be plasmapheresis. And the third is steroids. If the duration is more than 4 weeks, then we shall be giving the patient steroids also. So IVIG, plasmapheresis, and steroids. These are given. So guys, this was GBS lecture. If anyone has any queries, you can please post them on the comment section. Thank you for watching my video. Please do subscribe our channel if not already done, and press the bell icon button to stay tuned and stay updated. Stay tuned for upcoming videos by Medico Gyan at www.medicogyan.com. Thank you.